Ironically, it was easier for me to launch hardware into space than it was to put a new piece of equipment on a gas plant. There's a bit of irony in that. There's a lot of kind of learning that we can learn from each other from the two sectors about how we think about risk and risk taking and the role that risk taking has in advancing capabilities and technology. It was a really exciting time at NASA when we flew the synthetic aperture radar to figure out the water ice on the moon. And everybody thinks about it as like that moment of kind of seeing water or something in an image. But the reality is actually you see a bunch of bits and data coming down, and then you have a bit of processing that's after that. This actually, for many, many decades, we thought there was no water on the moon. And finding that it was actually not just water, but it was actually in many of the craters there. And then the search was like, how did it get there, and how much is there? NASA's human spaceflight missions, and for that matter, for every science mission we've ever flown into space, you bring everything from Earth. That means you launch it out of the gravity well that is Earth. It takes a lot of energy to get out of Earth's gravity, and you have to take it to wherever your destination. The mining sector kind of analogy for this is today, most mining sectors, we bring all the fuel to the mine location. Very little of it, if anything, is produced on site. As we get more sustainability, we talk about solar and wind as energy sources at remote locations, and that allows us to limit how much fuel we bring with us. So the mining sector is kind of going through its own similar transition, and bringing fuel from faraway places is always going to cost a lot of money, and producing it locally is increasingly getting more cost competitive. So you get the cost benefit, but then you also get the environmental impact as well of not having the haul of fuel there, and also lower carbon fuels to begin with. Resilience of your mission or resilience of your mining operation, they kind of go hand in hand. Supply chains are delicate, and we're seeing that unfortunately right now play out with difficulties of fuel delivery and fuel supply of many locations around the globe, including here in Australia. But if you had the ability to produce your own on site, you would also increase your resiliency. Australia's ability to produce energy in country, be it fossil fuels that we have today, but also renewable energy here, because we have some of the best solar and wind in the world, can be treated as I think, a very significant competitive advantage versus any other place in the world. So people don't think about the role of space, and I've talked about, and I can talk about the qualitative kind of benefits, this risk kind of taking and risk learning that we have from each other. But the other side of it is the way that space technology impacts the way we do operations today. We are so reliant today on global positioning systems for navigation, for that navigation kind of knowledge about where we're at. We're increasingly now also becoming more used to basically instantaneous data around weather and emergency response events. But then you go a step further, and now we're seeing the advent of next generation space-based sensors that are doing multispectral imagery, hyperspectral imagery. A lot of those imaging type capabilities now are giving us a lot of new insights about exploration and exploration abilities, and also just understanding our current operations. I mean, now you basically can get almost every single point on the planet imaged every single day in very high resolution. And that kind of data actually helps lead to all kinds of insights about operations, but then also safety outcomes, remote monitoring of facilities and such that you have, along with the space technology that enables the autonomy that we talk about and we actually rely on a lot today. So space has a big impact for all that already, and I think it's going to have an increasingly impact as we get more communications and more Earth observation and remote sensing data, even coming in the future. So my time at NASA, I mean, we always were looking at how to do remotely operated human spaceflight missions. We can only send so many crew, but then the rest of the team is on the ground. We always actually looked at the mining sector in Australia as an analog of what we wanted to be able to get to in the future. So I would say Australia is actually quite a far bit down the path of actually real, true human on site with remote operations supporting, and the two working in concert together, both as the psychology of doing that with the two different workforces and working in parallel, but the technology that sits behind it. The additional thing I can think about is there's a lot the space industry could also learn from the resource sector from it. So as we talk about living off the planet, resource identification, processing, and refinement is something we're going to need to be able to do off the planet. But we're going to have to do it in a scale that is lower power, more autonomy, lower mass, meaning smaller devices, and modular-based construction that can actually be, say, travel to the moon. So there's a lot of knowledge and expertise that we already have in every one of those areas I just talked about. But the miniaturization and the remote operations of that, and to be able to work off planet, is actually a great advantage of the resource sector and the space sector working together if we think about offshore resource utilization, say, on the moon. Knowledge is amazing that you have, but innovation is not innovation unless you apply the knowledge. You can have the most innovative thought about things, but it's actually truly not innovation until you've actually taken the action. A lot of people have good ideas. It's actually hard to move from good ideas to action. And so that's going to be my main focus at GRX26, is find those kind of nuggets of where we can actually drive action soonest. So that'll be fun with the whole community that's there. The main thing I would like somebody to walk away with is how collaboration and innovation actually can be benefited from cross-industry collaboration. In my mind, most of the times, the industry that caused the problem or thought of the problem isn't the industry that solves the problem. And actually, you get a lot of benefit by the diversity of engineers and technical people getting across two different industries. And that difference in opinions and experience and capabilities actually is where a lot of solution space comes from. So I would just encourage folks, collaboration is where our problem solutions come from, and cross-industry collaboration is one big aspect of that. The solutions are out there. We just need to figure out how to collaborate better. This is Jason Crusan, the CEO of AROSE, the Australian Remote Operations in Space and Earth. The resource sector is competing in the most critical era in its history. Be part of what happens next at GRX26.